Hello everyone, it's Suzanne again from Countdown to EBS and Unmasking the New Normal. In this video, I'm going to start by talking about who to trust and what to believe. This is the first of a series of short videos that I'm going to be doing on this subject. First of all, I would just like to say if you've reached that point where you are questioning what you're hearing and you're wondering who you can trust and what you should believe, then all I can say is congratulations. You are on the brink of awakening and also from freeing your mind from what is known as the matrix and also from intellectual enslavement. I know that this might sound a little melodramatic to some of you, but when you consider the danger that we were all in 2020 as the pandemic event was being rolled out, when you think about it, it's plain to see that it's not such a dramatic idea after all. I mean, after all, who could have ever imagined that the media would be able to have that much control over the entire population of the world to, first of all, have everybody run out and strip the stores clean, the shelves of the shops clean, because they had put out a story about Costco being out of toilet paper, which I believe the story was about Costco in Australia, and we're in Canada. Now, just to show you what I'm talking about, to give you an example of this, there had already been predictive programming going on about the pandemic event, as in they had already started talking about it. They had already started talking about it as though it was happening somewhere else. Very common tactic of the news. We think things are going on somewhere else, and that was to do with the pandemic event. But the next thing we know, we're hearing about this all over the world. I'm in Vancouver. My mum went to Britain on holidays, and a really good friend of mine went to Australia, and then after a couple of weeks, she went to the Philippines. I was in contact with them on a regular basis, and I kept saying to my mother, "Oh, so what's going on over there? Are you hearing anything about the pandemic?" And my mother's saying, "No, nothing really. There's no sign of it whatsoever. The only thing is people are saying they can't get toilet paper in the stores." Strange, right? So I talked to my friend in Australia and I was chatting online, and she says, no sign here other than for some strange reason you can't get toilet paper in the stores. She then went from Australia, and I believe she went to the Philippines. And I asked her again, any sign over there? What are the Philippines doing? Nothing really. The only thing that we're seeing is that there's no toilet paper in the stores. I'm pointing this out because I just want to show the influence that the media has on the people. They are in the business of perception management, which means that they put out a perception and they have complete control. This one incident alone, we're just talking about this, about the toilet paper a minute. They have complete control over what people think, how they feel, and ultimately how they behave. In this case, we saw the story. People think, we better run out and get toilet paper. And they're panicking. And the next thing is you can't get toilet paper anywhere, nor could you find just about anything else. The shop, stores, the shelves were stripped bare. So I just want to really drive home the fact that, and I want everybody to understand the amount of influence that the media has over what people think, how they feel, and how they behave. The next thing that we saw, if we jump ahead to the next big event, we were told that there was going to be lockdowns. Keep in mind, where was this all coming from? It was coming through the media, okay? Not just on the news, the media industrial complex, which consists of the news stations, the talk show stations, the newspapers, magazines, Hollywood, a lot of the entertainment industry, including sports, religion, spirituality, even a lot of school and education. So everything is being fed into the media system. The news readers read it out. They put in fear, 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 statistics, more statistics, really big statistics, more fear. People panic. And what do? They lose their minds. They give up their sense of responsibility. And they think, oh, the government is going to save me. The people at the top are going to save me. The media is going to keep me informed. And then we saw people complying with mandates that were in direct alignment with Agenda 2021. So had it not been for a fact that we had a divine intervention on planet Earth, I cannot imagine where we would have been, because anybody that was awake enough to know that there was something not right with what was going on and who was trying to alert the masses to the truth, we realized how terrifying that situation was, because not only were people complying with everything that they were being told by the media industrial complex, but they were also enforcing, sometimes physically, verbally and physically attacking and enforcing these mandates and agendas, mandates that they really had absolutely no idea where they were coming from. And these were being fed out through the media. And then the masses, many of them, were then trying to enforce it on their own family and friends, and even strangers, even those that were not willing to comply. And the reason they were not willing to comply was because they were aware that there was this other agenda. So you might actually, if you've never heard of it, I would strongly advise that you look it up. It's called Agenda 21 and Agenda 30. And the only reason I'm asking you to do that now is because I want for people to understand how dangerous it is to just willfully listen to what you're being told and shown through the media. Because I do understand that if we go back years ago, I mean, even when I was a child, the news was looked at as if it was serious. They dressed in staunch clothing, and everything was very serious, and it was old. And even though there was a lot of propaganda, and we never knew, I mean, and I'm sure a lot of people didn't question it so much then, but then we weren't bombarded with all the social media and everything as well. Part of the problem is that now we see things on a channel, we can switch to other channels, and instead of thinking, like, you've got one lot of people that will say, hang on a minute, that's a bit weird. Why are they all saying exactly the same thing? Would they not go out and do their own research? But no, because a lot of it is fed directly in from a central source. So people see that and they think, oh, well, that's saying that one, and that one's saying that one, and this one's showing this one, so it must be true, right? And then you've got it on social media. Not only that, but when it comes to social media, and I've seen this happen so many times before, you've got people with their phones, flip, 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 don't even read anything. All they read is the title. And what happens then is people take on a belief and they become very invested in that belief. And so all they do then is they start to sort for information that confirms that they're right. So they're not interested in listening to what anybody else had to say. So to be honest with you, in 2021, when everything was being rolled out, and let's face it, you were being told to wear masks like slaves wear. You were told to stand yes, of course, they had a really good way of manipulating people into doing it. On a circle in the store, you were told to be herded like cattle. We even had security guards, private police in the stores. Everything for the makings of what is written up as being part of the New World Order agenda, which, by the way, is to depopulate the human race. This is private people, private businesses with an agenda. This is real. I know it sounds crazy, and I know it's terrifying to think that somebody could think like this. And that's another thing. We often, because we don't think that way, because we're not that evil, it's very difficult to believe that other people could be that evil. And unfortunately, as we're about to see, if you haven't already heard it, but when we get those EBS alerts and we get that 8-hour movie, we're going to hear about something. We're going to hear about a lot of it, of what's going on. I do not think they're going to give us the gory details. I do not think that they go in, because they know that, there's going to be kids and everything watching. But there's going to be opportunities, from what I hear, where, as long as you are mature enough to make your own decision in that, there's going to be, from what I understand, a lot of footage of the arrests and, the court cases and everything else in who knows what, that you can watch. So people will be able to watch to see everything. But that's not going to be coming out on the 8-hour EBS thing. And part of what is going on in the world right now is to try and help people to wake up. So this is why we've got such a divide in people, okay? This is why people are so divided. If we go back to the beginning of the rollout of the pandemic, what was happening, I know for me, I was surrounded by sheeple who did not wish to know, willful, ignorant people. I totally understand people who are in fear. I completely understand people who don't know what's going on. But when you are trying to help people understand the danger that we were potentially in, which is what most of the digital soldiers and all the truth seekers and those communities out there, the alternative truth media, that we're trying to help people wake up. This is why we've got so many people that have left mainstream media now, and they're following a lot of the alternative medias and the truth seekers and the digital soldiers. And I will tell you what was even more terrifying than that is that besides all that was going on and nobody wanted to hear, part of the reason that you were not seeing the other side of the story was because everything was being censored. It was terrifying. It was so scary because we could make videos and there was loads of truth seekers, loads of digital soldiers, even doctors and lawyers, like some really, really good doctors and lawyers were coming out and trying to tell people the truth. And so we were being bombarded with propaganda and lies and fear-mongering and fear porn through the media. And the truth seekers, they were being fact-checked by those putting out all the propaganda. They were having their videos removed. They were having their channels shut down. There were news stories coming out telling you to stay away from those not wearing masks and that because they were dangerous. And I'm not saying this now to blame anybody. We're going through a mass awakening on the planet. And there's so much truth being unearthed. And there's a lot of people who are still oblivious to anything that's gone on. And this isn't just to do with what happened with the rollout of the pandemic event and everything. There's massive, massive, massive stuff going on around the world that people are oblivious to it. And yet, if you know, and if you've been watching it, it's absolutely amazing. It's been incredible to see what's been going on behind the masquerade. Anyways, I said I was going to keep these videos short, and I just want to make that point, how the media does have that influence and how it is so important that people realize how easy it is to not only be taken advantage of, but to be manipulated and controlled into taking action, which could be so incredibly dangerous, because trust me, had there not been for the fact that there was a divine intervention that has happened on this planet, we would be living in a completely different world right now. And it is terrifying what they had planned for us. The good guys are winning. We are going to hear about a lot of this. And we are actually, you may have heard about timelines. 2 different timelines were at play. So that was the one timeline. And the other timeline is, you've heard me talk about it before, the plan to save the world. We are at this place right now, which is known in the Bible as separating, I think it's called separating the wheat from the chaff. So what that means is that we are seeing people, and it's been going on right from the beginning of the pandemic event, we're seeing more and more people rise up, okay? And the chaff, because I grew up with horses and that, so they used to make straw bedding with it and stuff. It wasn't edible for the animals or the people. And so the wheat would be the good stuff. So if you look now, there's massive lawsuits around the world, and it's doctors and lawyers that have broken free of the system that has oppressed and suppressed all of their information and oppressed them. They've broken free from that system, and they are fighting to bring out the truth. We're seeing clashes between people and the police. And what's happening is that the police are, because we're in this system, okay, where the rulership rules the next level, next down. So we are at the bottom. We're the peasants. We are the gentle folk, as I like to call us. It's what we were known as in Wales. So we're at the bottom, and then we've got the police, and we've got all the regulatory bodies at the top, right? So you've got your medical, whatever they are. I'm not even going to get into it. It's all going to come out in the thing. You've got those, you've got the police, you've got all these regulations. So they license us to death, especially if you're a business or you have any sort of qualifications. You have to take all this schooling, you have to get all these licenses. You are constantly having to upgrade, and you have to pay in insurance and more licenses. We are licensed to death. So they're all in that regulatory system above us. And the police are being pushed down on us to pressure us to comply with the orders up here. The top has been removed, okay? The head has been cut off the snake. So we're working our way down. There's been millions of arrests around the world of these people who have been enforcing these agendas and oppressing people for thousands of years. This is what's going on. This is where we are. So right now we're seeing the level above the gentlefolk, the police and everything, okay? They're starting to fight back and realize that what they're being told, this agenda that they are being told to enforce, is against, it's all about oppressing. They're being forced to oppress the people. So more and more police are realizing this. They are rising up, they're waking up. And so this is why we're hearing that the police are going to be ordered to stand down. This is what we've been hearing for a long time, because they are going to have to go through training, which is all under common law, constitutional law, okay? Not the laws that were made by the top people of the pyramid or the head of the snake. That's all going to come out. It's fascinating, but I just want to let you know. So don't get so absorbed in the likes of the media that you are going to make decisions for your life that could be potentially dangerous because you have not listened to people who've been trying to help you see the truth. We're all in this together. We're all trying to help each other out. We're all trying to help wake everybody up so that we can move forward. Like I say, the good guys are winning, but we do all have to wake up, and we do all have to, we're either the wheat or the chaff. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, so make your mind up. And are you going to rise up? Are you going to get involved here and fight for our rights? Or are you just going to bury your head in the sand and watch the media and wait for permission to live your life? Because trust me, it would have been a very, very bad situation had things not worked out the way that they have. Anyways, I'm cutting this video off now. I didn't mean to be talking this long. And I'm actually going to make at least 2 more videos on who or what to trust. One of those is going to be about the digital soldiers, and then I'm going to talk about some of this issue about how some people are now being called kings and queens and how that came about. It's actually very fascinating. So we'll talk to you soon. I'll see you in the next video. Be safe. Bye bye.